Shalom Yasha'Allah. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash, the honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who grew well. And peace and blessings to the hopeful elect that pushes great gospel and sincerity and truth. It's your brother Kazakhstan Yahweh from the Great Millstone, Indianapolis camp, coming at you another lesson through the spirit of power Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. The Lord will be edifying. Got an article here from Al Jazeera, and it reads, Kazakhstan, more than 160 killed, 5,000 arrested during riots. And this is it says in the caption, it says fuel price rises sparked the unrest a week ago in provincial areas, but the violence quickly reached large cities. Right? It says showing a little picture of somebody being detained, but it says more than 160 people were killed and 5,000 arrested in the violence that shook Kazakhstan over the past week. Salakia. It said this came out January 9th, 2022, the year of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, turned it up, and it was updated, on the 10th. So, get back to the reading, Salakia. It says more than 160 people were killed and 5,000 arrested in the violence that shook Kazakhstan over the past week, according to officials. The Interior Ministry, quoted on Sunday by local media, said initial estimates put property damage at about 175 euros or $198 million. More than 100 businesses and banks were attacked and looted, and about 400 vehicles destroyed, it added. Right, and it says a total of 164 people, including 2 children, were killed in the deadliest outbreak of violence in the country's 30 years of independence. Russia's Sputnik news agency cited the health ministry as saying on Sunday. It said 103 people had died in Kazakhstan's main city of Almaty, where the worst of the unrest took place. On Sunday, a relative calm appeared to return to the country's economic hub, with police sometimes firing shots into the air to stop people approaching its central square. Today, the situation is stabilized in all regions of the country. Interior Minister Erlan Turgunbayev said. And nonetheless, the counter-terror operation is continuing in a bid to reestablish order in the country. In total, 5,135 people have been detained for questioning as part of 125 separate investigations into the unrest. The Interior Ministry said Al Jazeera's Robin Forestier Walker, who had covered Kazakhstan, said the death toll was expected to increase. We are waiting for the body count to rise based on the scale of the fighting, the violence and the shooting, heavy machine gun fire, and explosions that went on for hours and hours during January 5th and 6th, he said. To add to that, the so-called anti-terrorism operation is still continuing across the country, so a very big operation going on with the Kazakh government attempting to take back control of the situation. Shoot-to-kill policy. The crisis was sparked a week ago in western provincial areas by a fuel price increase, but protests quickly reached large cities, including Almaty, where riots erupted. In response, President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev issued shoot-to-kill orders to end the unrest he has blamed on what he terms bandits and terrorists. Right? So keep that in mind, shoot-to-kill order. So if it happened over there, don't think that order can be issued out nowhere else. It says, at Tokayev's invitation, the Russia-led Collective Security Treaty organization sent troops to restore order, an intervention that comes at a time of high tension in Russia-United States relations ahead of new talks on the Ukraine crisis. And I'm going to speak on that, temporary, a little bit after this article, because these people, they, some things can rise, can cause unrest, stuff like that, like fuel prices, but it's a little deeper than that. It's a number of strategic facilities have been transferred under the protection of the United Peacekeeping Contingent of the CSTO member states. The presidential office said in a statement detailing a security briefing chaired by Tokayev, it did not identify the facilities. Bruce Paynier, journalist with Radio Free Europe, says Tokayev's decision to call in Russian military forces will be perceived as a sign of weakness by the Kazakh people. one can sort of understand that he wanted to free up his own security forces to put down what he says are essentially terrorist attacks and an attempted coup, which is fairly ridiculous as there are definitely two different groups, most of whom are peaceful protesters in Kazakhstan, Penier said, speaker from the Czech capital of Prague. But the interesting thing about this is the Collective Security Treaty Organization that Russia leads has never actually deployed troops in any of its member states where there's been unrest, he continued. Its charter states it is not supposed to interfere unless these member states face an external threat, which Tokayev is provided by calling these terrorists international terrorists, and that's what I was speaking on, as far as like it's more to it. It's saying, suggesting that they were trained outside the country. Former leader Nursultan Nazarbayev was the longest-serving ruler of any former Soviet state until he turned over the presidency to Tokayev in 2019. His family is widely believed to have retained influence in Nur-Sultan, the purpose-built capital that bears his name. It says, on Wednesday, Tokayev removed Nazarbayev as head of the country's Security Council, a role in which he had continued to wield significant influence. It said, Kazakhstan's former intelligence chief and two-time Prime Minister Karim Mazimov was also arrested on Saturday on suspicions of treason. And so that's pretty much all on that. So like how it was saying, that they feel like these were external, terrorists from, different places, or the case may be. And it's just kind of funny how you seeing all this tension happening around and all this unrest and stuff like that happening around these former Soviet states. So I seen some little alternative media that spoke about saying that was why Russia sent in those troops, because they believe there's a attempted coup, ultimately from Babylon the Great. As you can see what's going on in Ukraine, same thing. They want to ultimately set up a puppet leader, and ultimately to do what? To get closer to the borders, to put missiles along the border of Russia. That's what they want to do. But, reading that title again, it's more than 160 killed and 5,000 arrested during riots, right? And let's go get to these scriptures real quick. Had to, get something in on this little break here at the plantation. This is and there was another article too that I seen, because there was some officers and stuff like that got killed, and some of the security forces that got killed. So I wish I could have found that, but we just gonna get it in anyway. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15 verse 1, and it says, "Behold, speak down the ears of my people, which the people of the Lord are, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and the speckled bird who been scattered amongst the heathen. But they see line go back to the 12 tribes of Israel, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord." So this is the Lord putting these words in our mouth, and cause them to be written. So like I said, it's His words. It ain't us. We utensils. Yeah, we speaking it, but this is all the will Yahweh Shem Shai. He's putting the spirit on us to do these things. Like I said, scripture say, man's going to the Lord. How then can a man understand his own way? You see, so there's no free will. You're gonna do whatever the Lord sanctioned for you to do, whether you like it or not. And it says, and cause to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. That's why we have the scriptures. It says, fear not the imaginations against thee. Right? Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. So everybody that's bucking up against the truth, speaking against the men of the Lord, don't want to believe, I don't believe this, I don't believe that. The Lord tells us don't fear none of them things. Don't fear none of those threats. Don't fear none of those vain words and vain babblings. Don't fear none of those things, right? Like, because incredulity goes into unbelief, so they don't care. Scripture say, for what the Son do not believe, does their unbelief make the faith of the Most High without effect? God forbid. The Most High forbid, you see? So, like I said, so we're not going to fear what you say, especially when it's contrary to the doctrine. You know what I mean? Because why? Verse 4 say what? For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. And who gonna sanction your death? Yeah, how about Shemar Shai? That's what we say. Vengeance is His. So yeah, y'all can say what you're gonna say what you're gonna do. We ain't gonna take up arms. We're not gonna get carnal. We're not gonna fight y'all. We understand that how about Shemar Shai is gonna fight our battles. And that's what it said, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. So those who don't believe and those who want to buck up and be against and be contrary, you most surely gonna die. Thus saith Yahweh Shemar Shai. And it say, okay, behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world. So the Lord is bringing these plagues upon the world. The sword, right? And the sword was definitely using this article, that's going on over there. Famine, death, and destruction. All these things are sent from Yahweh Shem Shai. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and the hurtful works are fulfilled. So we understand that everything that happens in the world is sanctioned by Yahweh Shema Shai. He's the one, his spirit is in all things. He's the great king over, the whole universe. Saying of everything, and who's second in command, his son. Just begin unto him. And he's on one accord with Yahweh. So he cool with what's going on, and likewise as us, we have of one mind with Yahweh Shai. Saying we want these things to come to pass and to happen because of why? The destruction of this place has to come so that we receive salvation. So when these things happen, man, it puts a smile on our face. Brakada Yahweh Shai, make it good on this word as we know he gonna do. We just got to have that faith and patience and endure to the end, And Lord will he keep that spirit on us to do so. But yeah, that's what the Lord, bring it to this place. And I'm gonna drop down. Verse 14, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, right? Destruction is coming to the world. Not, peace and safety. No, that's not coming. For the sword, their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. This is what was going on. It was, protesters, so-called peaceful protesters, and there was other people going against them, right? That's why they had to send in these security forces and this and that, these so-called terrorists there, because these people was against each other. These people was for what's going on. Those other people was against it. So the only way that they could get, only way they could, pretty much talk out or, say come to a compromise within their differences is to result in the violence. So, not necessarily going to be a compromise, but that's the only way that they feel like they can hash things out is by turning to violence. And that's what it said. And they shall fight against another and swords in their hands. Like I said, there's a lot of people, like I said, 164 people died, even kids. And they ain't get killed by bare hairs. No, it's videos on it. Maybe if I could, post a link if I remember, I could post it, man. They was out there and they was getting the cracking, so to speak. They was out there, AR-15s, M16s, big guns. They wasn't playing, knock your face off. That they had stuff like that out there. And like I said, no matter if it was staged or whatever the case may be, man, it still happened. It don't matter. It's still a part of Yahweh Shema Shai's plan. It say, so like I said, it was people fighting against another. It say, for there shall be sedition among men. Now, real quick, see this term, sedition. Sedition from the mid 14th century. It says rebellion, uprising, revolt, concerted attempt to overthrow civil authority, violent strife. Then it said, they attempted coup. That was to overthrow the authority. Violent strife between factions, right? It was this side of the protesters, these people, this side of the protesters. Civil or religious disorder. This was, civil disorder. Rebelliousness against authority, So, like I say, from the old French, sedition, directly, pretty much you get to understand it. Like I say, civil disorder, dissension, strife, rebellion, mutiny, going apart, separation, they not on one accord, so they going apart. They not with each other. So, back to the scriptures, so for there should be sedition among men. So, it was an uprising, a rebellion. And the rebellion, it could be incited by what somebody say or just, an action that take place. Like they try to say, fuel prices were incited this, and somebody could have been like, hey, man, this is not right, this and that, and rile people up or however the case it may be, but just understanding when there's a rising against the government, the authorities, man, that's sedition among men. And invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes. They didn't care about them people coming out there with them, the riot police with the shields and the batons and all that. They didn't care about that. That's why they had to call in, other, what that's called the CTSO, pretty much the Russian authorities had to call in extra, troops, so to speak, to come in, because they didn't care about their kings and princes. Like I said, there was an article, they said some officers that got killed. I wish I had it. But that's why I said they not regard their kings nor princes, and like I said, also they wouldn't, if they seen, like I said, they definitely don't regard the president or whoever is in power over there, because that's who the revolt is against. They definitely don't regard him, so if they could get their hands on him, and it's his authorities, those who are underneath him, who are part of their, whatever type of government statute that they have, whatever it is, if any of those people were seen, governors and mayors, and even though people were seen, man, they was gonna go get them. You know what I'm saying? That's what they say. They should not regard the kings or princes. They don't care about your title or your position. These are angry people. They won't change. They won't, and they, like I said, and it don't matter what levels or what lengths that they will go to get that change or to get the things that they want to appease the things that they want or their necessities. They don't care about that. And they say, the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Well, there it is. So it's just going to be in their power to do whatever the hell they want to do. Ultimately, it's going to be in their power for what the Lord put the spirit on them to do. You know? So it don't matter. Like I said, these are things that, we long for to see, that we long for to have it, because that's prophecy being made good. The Lord making good on his word, as we know he going to do. Right? Get this real quick. 2 Ezra chapter 9, verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And he is definitely visiting the world which he have made through all these things that's going on: earthquakes, famines, pestilences, kingdoms against kingdoms, nation against nation. You see the Karagba being made mainstream. All these things is coming to pass, and we understand this is all the visitation of Yahweh Shemel. Right? It's therefore when there shall be seen earthquakes and what? Uproars of the people. This is an uproar of the people in the world. Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So all these things that's going on right now was already sanctioned to happen from the beginning. As the scripture said, he declared the end of the world before the beginning. So all things that's going to happen is going to play its course, whether you like it or not. But just understand that this is a visitation from Yahweh Shema Shai. For like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an and the end is manifested. You don't think that you're at the end of the end in the latter times, and you are bugged out. If the Lord don't wake you up, put the spirit in to wake up, man, you just gonna be through. If you think you got a whole another 100 years, another 10, another 20, another 50 years for things to continue to go on within this society, within this eon, Esau, Edom, and you got a rude awakening coming. So it's because it manifests means what? To be made known. And it's made known via through the scriptures. That's how he measures down the times diligently. He measures those signs by what? Taking what happened in the real world and tying it to the scriptures. That's how you measure it. It's even so, the times also the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. So, like I said, we understand that the Lord, man, he do things his way. Definitely gonna be wondrous works and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. And that's what we witnessing and what we seeing right now. And that's why we happy, for prophecy to come to pass. These are the things we preach and teach. And then when the Lord make good on his word, then like you said, Brakatah Yahweh Shema Shai. We just gotta do our part as a mouthpiece. And then some people be getting, offended at prophecy. But here it is, you want righteousness, you want the righteous kingdom, you want to be immortal, you want to be crowned, you want to have rulership, eternal rulership. But then when things like this happen, that's not right. Oh, them people innocent. This one supposed to happen. This one that. No. All these things have to happen. Destruction has to happen before you can receive that rulership that you want. So you need to, get your mind right and understand that, it's going to get worse and worse and worse around the world before it gets better. And the only time they get it better is after our deliverance and we get set up, via Yahweh by Yahweh Shai, and the rest of the order on down. That's when everything will be all good and peaceful and righteousness when we set up. But before we get to that point, destruction has to come to this place. So, man, you better get with the program, or, like I always say, if you don't get right, you most definitely going to get left. I think I want something over here. Salakia. And like I said, that's pretty much the point. Gonna definitely end it on here, right here. This is Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 5. Thus said the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai, power and evil and only evil, behold, is come. So what? Only bad times are the only thing that's coming to this place. So, man, you better buckle up. You think it's going to get better, it's going to get, no, that ain't going to happen. Only evil and bad times is coming to this place. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. And the men of the Lord who out there crying this time for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof, that's what we doing. Like the scripture say, give him no rest. We doing this to give the Lord no rest. So that until we make Jerusalem a praise in the earth, roughly paraphrasing. That's why the men out there, you think the Lord gonna side with you who want to forward this kingdom, or he gonna side with his men who want this place to be destroyed and to reign in everlasting righteousness? Who you think he gonna side with? You know what I'm saying? An end is come. The end is come, and watch it for thee. Behold, it is come. Yeah, like I said, the end is manifest. The end is here. We just patiently waiting on patiently waiting on that day for destruction, the ultimate destruction to come. And Lord, when we be found worthy to receive salvation, Lord willing, right? And I'm gonna end it right here. This is Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 25. Destruction cometh, right? And it say peace coming, and it say stability coming, right? It say happiness is coming. On this side, it say what? Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace. People gonna seek peace. Where's peace? Where's the love? Where's the peace? Where's the harmony? Where's this? Where's that at? People gonna seek that peace. And they say what? And there shall be none. Ain't no peace coming to this place. Ain't no locking hands and joining hands. Ain't no kumbaya. Ain't no, just ring around the rosy. Ain't none of that madness going on no more. Let's all hold hands and say the national anthem. That's not going on no more. It's straight up destruction. But if people tell you that peace is coming, then what happened when they speak about peace? Then sudden destruction comes. So if anybody talks to you about peace and we gonna do this and we gonna do that, we gonna get it back right, hey, don't believe you. Flee not. Hey, the man's word is not gonna trump the words of Yahweh Shem El Shai in any period of time, any given day. It'll never happen. So again, Ezekiel 7:25, destruction cometh. Right? And we already seen destruction, but the ultimate destruction definitely gonna come, right? It says with the when Yahweh Shai come back, the concentrated laser beams of the chariots and the thermonuclear warheads from the missiles, right? It say destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. So if you expecting peace to come, peace and stability and tranquility to come, and you a goddamn fool. And your ass is gonna be put to death with the rest of the world who wants Babylon and everything else to come back to a hill state, to be up and running, upstart, and so for everything to be all right. Well, guess what? Your ass gonna be, if you make it to that point, you hoping for it to be all right, your ass gonna catch a missile and be burnt up with the rest of this place. Because if you now elect, your ass is toast, especially over here in Babylon the Great. And also, I want to get this last one because a lot of people died, right? People thought it was a freak accident that happened. No, it was terrorists. No. Psalm 68:20. He that is our power, possessive, is the power of salvation. Who's salvation only coming to? The Israelites. And on this side, the elect. But also, ultimately, everybody else, all of the Israelites as well. Because why I say all Israel shall be saved, right? So those are the only ones going to receive that salvation. It say unto power, Yahweh Shem El Shai, belong the issues from death. So all those 164 people that got killed and whoever got wounded, this or that, what the case may be, man, that was all the doing of Yahweh Shem El Shai. So hey, we at the time where Yahweh Shem El Shai is turning up, and man, we hope that this year would be the year that we get out of this place. So hey, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to the sincere Akwaf out there listening. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash, the honors to our apostles, the elders, a great millstone, who rule well, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect that pushes great gospel in sincerity and truth. Shalom, Yasha Allah, Abai, Babal.